There was an idea
to bring together a group of remarkable people.
What's up, guys? It's Alex.
It's Quinn.
It's Iconic Comic. We're back, and we are ready to react to Marvel Remembers the Legacy of Stan Lee. We're recording this a day after we found out. Just kind of had to sit with it.
Yeah.
Really didn't know how to feel. But I gotta say, it really does feel like I lost someone in my family. I feel like I've lost somebody that I've been close to.
Without really ever meeting. I mean, we saw him from
100 feet away, yeah.
We got fairly close, but it was like we never talked to him or anything. But it's still, I don't know if there's another human being on the planet Earth right now who's had more of an impact on my personality and what I'm into. Like,
yeah,
he pretty much created the world I live in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the characters that he created, they will just transcend anything else. I mean, anything else.
Well, they've clearly transcended time. Like,
yeah,
the characters that'll just stand the test of time. And we put a little post on our Facebook page about it, and something that we said was, you know, a hero is someone who makes a difference. He created so many heroes, but I think because of that, he's the real hero. Like, you know, he is the one that made the difference in our lives. You know, and what he did for Marvel and changing how we tell stories of comics. And this is coming from just a comic book fan in general, because, you know, I'm a fan of Marvel. And when it comes to Marvel DC, like, comic books, I'm 50-50 down the middle. Like, I probably own just as many DC comics as I do Marvel comics. But the difference when I go back and read the two universes is it always felt like Marvel's heroes were always human dealing with human problems.
Yeah, which
and
is
then
what
you
he
had the
aimed
DC
for.
who were like, they were a lot more like gods.
The larger than life
Heroes, and there's nothing wrong with either. It was just what are you in the mood for in that current day to read, but it would always connect with me on a different level when my hero that I looked up to had the same problems in life that I did. That's why Spider-Man is probably the most relatable superhero that's ever been created.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I've always looked up to Peter Parker and Spider-Man because it always felt like there's a hero in all of us, really, and that hero really personified that. And obviously he just did so much work, and I would say the one thing that, I don't know, I'm sure you could point it out, but, like, I don't think DC has that face to attach everything to. And if they do, it's just not a recognizable face as much as Stan Lee. Everybody knows Stan Lee.
Yeah,
everybody.
He taught us a lot of things. And I made a post on my personal page on Facebook. I did not understand what it meant. The quote from Spider-Man, "With great power comes great responsibility." I heard it, but it wasn't until I got older I knew what it actually meant.
Mm-hmm.
And dealing with the same things that Spider-Man dealt with, dealing with a bully. You and me both did. We dealt with that when we were younger, and then now that we're older, we bully each other. No, but it doesn't affect us the way that it did, and it's because we had those people. And like what I'm saying, people. They're comic book characters. I'm calling them people.
Right, and it's because of the brilliancy that he put into each character that was, and it goes back to that. Do you remember the Netflix little Stan Lee thing that he did, the little featurette? And he said, even though they're like either heroes or even though they're heroes, they're still human. All of them. Like, obviously, Thor's an exception. But honestly, in the comics, it wasn't, because it was Donald Blake, and he got the powers of Thor. The movies are a little bit different, but most of the characters that Marvel and Stan Lee and Jack Kirby created were humans that became extraordinary. It wasn't the other way around. Again, I will say this just to repeat it so we don't get a lot of bad comments in here. There's nothing wrong with the way DC does it, but it's kind of the opposite. It's like gods who are learning to become human. Like,
right.
You can watch that in the movie. I mean, Batman's obviously an exception, but, Superman from another planet, he's a god, and he has to learn how to live on Earth. Wonder Woman, she comes from Earth, but she has to learn to be in society, that kind of thing. Obviously, there's, you have people like the Flash and stuff that make a little difference, but most of Marvel are those human characters that you can connect to, and it's just something that he made a decision to do that just wasn't being done at that time. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like people like having your heroes go through like a divorce or having debt, having to pay for school, like having homework, girl trouble, like those were things that like weren't really happening that much in comic books, and it was just something that would make you connect to them and make you realize that there's a bigger person inside of you, and it made us. He taught us it's okay to be afraid, it's okay to be vulnerable, but you can be a hero.
All right, let's watch this.
I know. So we're going to go ahead. That was our little eulogy. Let's go ahead and get into this thing. And let's try not to cry. 3, 2, 1.
I'm Stan Lee. I've been writing stories for the young generation.
See, I just
for the past
always thought
30
he
years.
was
During
like
this
old.
time, I think I've learned a lot about what young people think. More importantly, I think I've learned a lot about what young people are. We're going to try to present a voice that somebody will listen to. The voice is needed. We hope it will be ours.
Oh, God.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, Mr. Stan Lee.
I didn't know.
Stan was doing one of his panels, and they asked me to come up and just say hi. Felt a little goofy, but I came up, I shook his hand. I think the microphone caught it, but I whispered in his ear. I said, hey, they just wanted me to come here and shake your hand, but while I'm up here, I want to say thank you. You saved my life. Because the life that I have today, there's a direct line to the first comic book to here.
Well, Stan's best creation was always Stan. As a creative figure is one thing. Stan as a personality was able to somehow tap into his own larger-than-life, self-effacing and self-aggrandizing at the same time personality.
As I would describe it, that P.T. Barnum aspect of him, it's just something he infused the group with, and it's something that the people who follow him have been able to kind of keep that energy going.
I think Stan Lee is going to be an icon, what he represents, what he was able to accomplish. He built American mythology because stories are really what stay with us.
Those characters that he
Enough
created
said.
and infused Marvel's brand have always shown through.
Even if they have superpower, they have to be believable. What they do has to be what any normal person would do in those situations.
And the idea that he championed all kinds of different voices, all kinds of points of view, and the concept of diversity and equality and conversations about, social politics, all these things he had been doing for years, and now it's at the forefront of everything that we talk about.
I just think he was just connected in that way, and he was connected to who his true audience was and who he was really writing for.
He complemented that with always being hopeful, with his own first-person personality of being Stan.
My earliest memories of Stan were reading those soapboxes. You felt like he was talking directly to you and no one else. What I didn't realize was that there was a kid behind me at the candy store reading the same thing, feeling the exact same way.
His ideology was very clear. It was very black and white, how to be good, how to treat people equally. And that's a really powerful impact, to lean into the light as much as you can, even if there's darkness all around you.
In writing the soapboxes, I used to just talk to the readers, anything that came to my mind, just to make the books not seem like something cold and aloof and is something you buy and you throw away. I wanted them to feel buying a Marvel book was like visiting an old friend.
Without that, we wouldn't be experiencing the success we have today.
People like that, creative geniuses like that, you can't help but walk away learning lessons. They have a way of delivering messages that, just resonate with those of us who have followed his work and followed the characters he's created.
He made it feel intimate and that anybody could belong to it. We're really lucky to have him really define us, because it's really given us something to move forward with.
There will never be a world without Stan Lee. He's the heart of the Marvel Universe.
Woo!
Mm.
Man.
You know, we were talking about it earlier. Gosh, the cameos, whatever his final cameos are that they filmed.
Dude.
Standing up, I will stand ovation. I don't care what part of the movie it is. I will start a standing ovation.
Pause the movie.
Yeah, because gosh, and we were talking about like they could always, technology's getting so good they could always keep putting him in things and stuff, but obviously it'd be hard. I don't want like somebody to like do his voice for him or whatever like that, but like if or like do what they did in like Daredevil, or like they put a picture of him somewhere so he's not actually there, but that's his cameo, like he's still there. Put Easter eggs in all the movie. Like I don't want him to stop. I don't think Stan would want them to stop either. That was his favorite thing. His favorite thing was being a cameo in all those movies.
Yeah, I think they gotta put him in there somehow.
Right. I don't know. It's just it. And you want to talk about what were the big civil rights pushers?
Oh, fantastic! Or the X-Men.
Well,
like
that, but like I'm saying, like, who really pushed like towards civil rights? Obviously Martin Luther King Jr. People like that, but not many people bring up Marvel and Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. Like creating Black Panther was huge. It was a huge deal in a time where there really were black superheroes, not very common. And it was, and they didn't just. It wasn't like a stereotype. It wasn't like something like goofy. He was a king. He was the most intelligent person on the planet. He was the richest person on the planet. And then he takes off his mask at the end of I believe it was the end of the first issue, and he's a black man. And like people were like, "Whoa, like that's crazy!" Like, and Marvel did that. They went there, and I mean that's pioneer stuff right there. And again, when we go back and think about it, it's like now I have no doubt for why Black Panther made as much money as it did. Like, it's such a big character, and he's, him and Jack Kirby are responsible for that. And I don't know, it
feels weird.
It does feel weird. I think,
I really felt like this is the first time where somebody famous has died and I have really mourned.
Yeah.
Like I really do feel a loss. I don't even know where to go from here.
Neither. This is a tough video to try to end and cleanly, because I could just keep talking about all the things, like,
because
what do you think is your first memory of Stan Lee? Do you can you try to pinpoint it or whatever? I'm pretty sure mine was the Spider-Man PC game. Well, for you it was PlayStation, but it was the same game. The Spider-Man game from 2000 or whatever, it might have been 2002. One of those, where it was the first one that was like a 3D Spider-Man game. It was revolutionary, but the game opened up with Stan Lee doing a monologue. Greetings, true believers and heroes alike. Welcome to the new adventures of Spider-Man. And it goes into it, and I'm just like, I'm captivated by his voice. Like, he drew you in. And what's funny is, you're captivated by this guy's voice, and he's most famous for writing things and not talking. He's more famous for that. But like when I hear Stan Lee's voice, I it just draws me in. Like he's a God-gifted storyteller.
And he's just got that voice. I remember, obviously the game and stuff like that, and the cameos in Spider-Man.
Oh, the
Like
the
the
90s
original?
one. Remember when like Spider-Man met Stan Lee?
Yeah.
And he was like swinging around with him, and he's like, "I thought I'd never get to meet the hero that I created." Like something about that's so cool.
But the one that I loved was when he was on the show, Comic Book Men.
Oh, with Kevin Smith.
Yeah,
That was a good one.
When he was on that episode, grown ass men were sitting crisscross applesauce, listening to him talk.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, and it's just like he's just got that voice that, if there's a crowd of people talking and he just starts
You
talking,
shut up and you listen.
everybody stops and listens. I feel like he had a good way of doing that, and just I don't know. We could go on all day, but he'll truly be missed. All right, let us know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like,
Comment,
share,
and subscribe.
so that you don't miss anything from this channel. Make sure you guys stay tuned
Stay iconic.
and
Excelsior.
Holy Grail.